Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, let's talk about the middleweight division, all right? The division that continues to be in shambles, and quite frankly, one of the worst divisions in the entire sport because there's not a whole lot of depth outside of champions, and the champions don't fight each other. So, I had a glimmer of hope for a split second that the middleweight division might finally get a good fight. You know, they were talking about Jermall Charlo. They were talking about him taking on Jaime Munguia. Both fighters apparently agreed to terms. And then at the 11th hour, all of a sudden, you know, because of the broadcasting situation, because of the network situation, you know, the representatives of both teams couldn't come to an agreement on the network. And at the 11th hour, the deal fell apart. Now, apparently, the U.S. PBC, who promotes Charlo, Al Heyman, and the five folks over there, they wanted the fight on not just Showtime, but Showtime pay-per-view. So make of that what you will. Charlo fight Munguia on Showtime pay-per-view. I'm not with all that. Golden Boy wanted the fight on DAZN. So that's what it was. And then also apparently another sticking point for the whole situation was that apparently it fell apart because there was a rematch clause. In the event that Charlo lost and exercised the rematch clause, because Charlo had the rematch clause, DAZN would own the sole rights to the broadcast of Munguia. Now, truthfully, guys, look, I spent 90 seconds telling you guys about shit that I really don't care about, and in the grand scheme of things, this don't mean nothing. All this really means is that the middleweight division continues to get held up and stalled out of the big fights that it desperately needs, you know. But what does it mean in the long term? What's going to happen? And how will this affect the middleweight division in the long term? That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. That's what I'm interested in. So I wanted to tell you guys my perspective, and you guys can take my perspective and do whatever you want with it. Now, it is worth noting that before any of this ever came up, from the Munguia side of things, Munguia was talking about, and it was already discussed by many people in boxing, that Munguia was going to fight Carlos Adames in a WBC final eliminator, because if you remember, Adames fought Sergey Derevyanchenko on the Gervonta Davis versus Isaac Cruz undercard in a WBC eliminator. He grinded it out. He won the fight, and now this is a final eliminator. So in the event that this fight with Charlo doesn't happen, right, Munguia is more than likely going to fight Carlos Adames, which, by the way, I'm not really a big fan of that fight because Adames doesn't live the life of a fighter outside the ring. He has to make these sharp weight cuts just to get to 160. He looked bad towards the back half of that fight against Derevyanchenko, and there's nothing that I saw that will lead you to believe that he's going to beat Munguia, who, by the way, is improving very nicely under the watchful eye of Eric Malice. You see what I'm saying? So I think Munguia would absolutely fold up and stop Carlos Adames if they fought. But let's just say they fought. If they fought next, which, by the way, back in January, Carlos Adames was telling Munguia after Ballard, let's face each other, you know? And I think that's a much safer fight for Golden Boy. It gives Munguia more time to continue to developing. They're both number one and number two in the WBC rankings. So let's just say they fight in a WBC eliminator. Either way, you cut it up, slice it, and dice it. If Charlo don't want to fight Munguia now, if Munguia fights Adames and beats him, then he'll have to fight. He'll be tasked with either fighting him as he'll become WBC mandatory, or Charlo will have to vacate the belt and, you know, go do something else with his career. So either you're going to fight Munguia now or you're going to fight him later. You know, it's getting ridiculous, these guys. And you know, the crazy thing is this all could have been avoided. Munguia and Charlo and this whole situation could have been avoided if Munguia or Charlo, if one of them had the balls to fight Demetrius Andrade when he was WBO champion. But now Andrade's got bigger fish to fry. He's going up to 168 to fight the bigger boys, stronger men. He'll be fighting Zach Park for the interim belt and trying to position himself for bigger and better things. But who knows? Maybe he comes back down here and after he beats Zach Parker, or if he beats Zach Parker, because I'm not going to disrespect Zach Parker because he's not a bad fighter. If he beats Zach Parker, he can still come back to 160 and defend the WBO belt. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, either he's going to fight, listen, Jermall Charlo, I want to talk about him for a second, and I'm going to talk about what's going on, because I'll be honest with you. Personally, I could give a shit less which network the fight is on. I don't care if it's on DAZN, Showtime pay-per-view, PBS Kids, fucking Nickelodeon, the freaking Lifetime. I don't care what channel it's on. Just put the damn fight on, because I'll find a way to watch it either way you cut it up, slice it, or dice it. But what I will say is this. I think with PBC trying to make this fight on Showtime pay-per-view, that's bad for the sport. That is bad for the sport because Charlo has already proven when they had the doubleheader with his brother, when Jermall fought Rosario and he fought Derevchenko, they already proved they can't sell. They already proved they can't sell. PBC, I think, had a chance to really make the Charlo stars because they have that it factor. They talk and they're very fun to watch. You know, they can move the needle as far as people's emotions go. But when they fought on the doubleheader, Charlo and the Charlo brothers, they did like 100,000 buys, you know? And it is what it is. They're not really moving numbers like that. So the fact that Showtime was trying to make this fight on PBC to begin with, it already, you know, I think it was already doomed from that point forward because we're in a market now where the PBC price or the pay-per-views are in a bad place. You know, boxing, especially from the PBC side, is being oversaturated with pay-per-views that people don't really want. And they're being starved out of the pay-per-views that people do want. You know what I'm saying? So it was doomed from there. But as far as this fight, I want to make my thoughts short and sweet. If they fought, I would actually pick Munguia to beat up on Jermall Charlo. I think Jermall Charlo has regressed as a fighter. I think Jermall Charlo has a fantastic jab, but the straight right hand, I haven't really been seeing that straight right hand improve fight by fight. I think Munguia, with the way he's improving, as far as offensively speaking, and even becoming a bit more defensively responsible, as far as also getting stronger himself, I think this would be a fight where Jermall Charlo would have some success in many spots of the fight with his jab. But I think his ultimate undoing would be the lack of an elite right hand, an elite punch to get Munguia off of him. Because, look, let's be real. At 160, when it comes to fighting them top guys, you know, the only top guy he fought really was really Derevchenko, and he didn't get him out of there. Even against Montiel, Charlo didn't have a great right hand. So I think his lack of a right hand, along with the volume, the durability, and the pressure of Munguia would absolutely burst the pipes of Charlo, and he stops him in the later rounds. I love the fight. I wish it would happen because, you know, we know that Munguia is scared of Demetrius Andrade. He don't want to fight him. You know, Xanafer Promotions, Golden Boy Promotions, they're all scared of Demetrius Andrade. They don't want to put Munguia in there with Demetrius Andrade because they know what would happen if that ever came to pass. Charlo, we know he don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade because he doesn't believe in himself. So these are two guys that don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. You know, why not fight each other? They don't want to fight Andrade, fight each other, you know, but we can't have nice things in the middleweight division. But ultimately, look, I think this fight, this whole scenario ends with Munguia being ordered to fight Adames in the WBC Fight Out Eliminator. I think he'll beat Adames because I think Adames is having a hard time making the weight. And there's a lot of things that are left to be desired in his fights. But I think, listen, if Charlo don't want to fight Munguia now, mark my words, take it to the banks, cash your checks on Sunday. Before this calendar year is out, Jermall Charlo will be tasked with having to make the decision of, am I going to vacate the belt or am I going to fight Munguia? It's going to be one of them two things. And we're going to see what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing how everything shakes out at middleweight. But yeah, fuck the politics. Fuck the whole thing about, you know, we want this, we want it on this network and that, and we're loyal to our part. I'm not trying to hear none of that. When it comes to 160, I have zero patience for network politics. We're at a stage where, you know, Charlo's got 32 plus fights. He ain't fought no premier fighters, and they've had chances to do that. And the same goes for Munguia. Munguia got more fights than Terrence Crawford. He had all the time to fight Andrade. Charlo had all the time to fight Andrade. They didn't want no smoke, so you know, it is what it is. But you guys, leave your comments down below. What do you make of the whole situation with Charlo and Munguia? Leave your comments down below. Take time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.